Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome back on Inter Worldwide. First show of 2025, and I don't need to rock it slow or by myself. It's going to be full on speed ahead with Mattia. Mattia, thank you for joining me, man. First match of 2025, first win of 2025. However, nothing is fully won yet, and I'm glad that the players had that same train of thought because there were no smiles at the full-time whistle today. How you doing, bro?
It's an honor to be at yours and Uncle Sharma's first live of the season. So thank you for inviting me. And we have a reason to be satisfied with the win. But like you said, we haven't won anything yet. So we're waiting for Monday, and I'm really looking forward to it. And it's gonna be amazing, hopefully. And it's gonna be, against our one of our biggest rivals. So yeah,
Well,
we have to win it now.
that's for sure. It's either going to be air conditioner, Milan, or they who must not be named. Just going to some of the comments first before we start. We've got over 20 people on Inter Worldwide for the first show of the season of the year, which is great. Rocky says TV rights are so bad it's hard to find somewhere to watch it in Australia. Yep, I'm all about dodgy streams again, man, because I just came back from India where nothing was working whatsoever for me. I was way back in banter era time, like searching for streams, getting them on my phone, watching them on a traveling data network. It was peak, but we're here now, and I was able to find a stream very easily today. So what's up, Massimo? I hope you've been well. Channel members are in the house. Christian says Dumfries after a contract renewal, world class. Lautaro with a contract renewal. Arnautovic. We're going to get to some more Lautaro slander here today. Dumfries was on fire. Barella was great too. Hey, man, 10 out of our 11 players had a good game today. 10 out of 11 players had a good game today. Ciao ragazzi, sempre Forza Inter, Forza Ian, Debbie, and the Kerr Mafia. Thank you very much for coming through. Good to see you again, Gabe. And yeah, I kept it nice and short today, but I'm definitely changing the audio for that intro. The video itself is still fantastic. I'll never tire of seeing us lift that ever.
I was there, bro. I was there in person. I still can't believe that.
I still can't believe it either, bro. Mabruk, congrats to you and to everybody else here for our first win of the season. Matt Pickham, I hope you're well, bro. I hope you, your wife, and your family, Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year to my Aussie brothers. And it's time. 2-0. Denzel on the beat twice. Two goals in the second half. We're slowly becoming second half FC as well in our last few games, man, which is why I'm not panicking too much at halftime. We're definitely, in my opinion, the toughest team in Italy to play in general, but definitely in the second half, that's for sure. Because if we go to the dressing room deadlocked at 0-0, Inzaghi knows exactly what rocket to shove up which culo, and it seems to do the job straight away. Matteo, we won't spend too long talking about the game today because we just spent 40 minutes on Uncle Sharma's channel talking about that. But overall, thoughts on the match, who played well, Toro's horrible form, Thuram's injury that keeps him most likely out of the final. We'll start with that.
Yeah. Like you said, it's, I wouldn't say 10 out of 11, but maybe 9 or 8 out of 11 had a good game today. Lautaro, I don't know what to say, man. It's just getting ridiculous at this point. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But like I said on Uncle Sharma, we have a final. Thuram is probably out. If you don't show up now, I don't know when you will show up. But despite Lautaro, we still get the results and we still win. So team is the most important. And yeah, I think maybe others are a little trying to assist him too much. I would want them to shoot more than to assist Lautaro. But I don't know, maybe that's some tactic or I'm not sure.
Well, we're starting to get to the point where even if we did have an idea as to why this form was happening, we don't have any real accurate reasons why, because there's no excuse for the misses that he has. There's no excuse for the form that he is in. Parts of his other game are struggling. Yes, I acknowledge the overall impact that he has on this side and the overall work that he does do off the ball a lot of the time on a defensive contribution as well. But it's unforgivable and inexcusable to be playing like this on the wage that you are on as the center forward / striker, as the main goal scorer for this club, because we can't have it continue into the rest of this season if we want to achieve our goals. We've done very well by distributing these goals around. Everybody plays for the team. We know that, but this cannot sustain into a Champions League run or a title race. It's not going to be like last season. We are not going to piss on Serie A the way we did last season. There is not going to be a winner of Serie A 4, 5, 6, 7 match days in advance, and in theory 10 match days in advance like it was for us. It's going to get down to the nitty-gritty and the grind. And if we can't rely on this guy to be there for us in the physical capacity that he needs to be, which is scoring goals or providing assists, or at the very least being a lethal threat up top that emotionally and physically drains the opposition goalkeeper and the defense, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And the fact that we're sitting here talking about that now is a luxury, because the rest of the team is doing well. Everybody else is contributing on that front, except for the guy who's supposed to contribute the most. So the reason why we're not here raising our voice, or the reason we're not here screaming about it, is because the results speak for themselves. And we said this a few minutes ago on Sharma's stream. Until the results start to go pear-shaped, no one's going to entertain the idea of selling this guy, because his market value would have dropped. That's the first thing. I don't think we're going to see him back at the value that he was at the end of 2022 going into 2023, because, sorry, 22, 23. When was the World Cup? Yeah, 2022, 23, when he won the World Cup and the Copa America back-to-back with Argentina, and then he had the season with us. So that's probably the peak price for Toro. We were never going to sell him at that point. I'm glad we didn't, because that's not what a big club does. You don't go and sell off an asset like that. And because we didn't do that, he had his best season for us, and he continued that form into the Scudetto. But maybe it's a case of one trophy too many for this brother, man. Maybe that next step into the elite bracket is not for him.
Definitely. I mean, from Ballon d'Or shouts to people saying, "I want to see Correa instead of him." Come on.
Yeah, like we're not being ridiculous here, but Sun Tzu, I get what you're saying in theory, but do you expect a 34, 35-year-old Arnautovic to do what Lautaro's doing? Do you expect a free transfer Mehdi Taremi, who was only starting for FC Porto in the Champions League for half the games, do that? Do you expect Marcus Thuram to do that? Because right now, he is doing that. Thuram is working for the team the way Lautaro does. I don't expect anybody else up top to do that, because nobody else gets the money that Toro does. Nobody else has been here for as long as Toro has. Nobody has worked with as many changing strikers in this system as Toro has. Remember that this guy, was playing with Romelu Lukaku for 2 seasons under Conte, kept the same formation and the same game plan going into Inzaghi's run. Toro is cemented not only into this squad, he's cemented into the tactical identity. So damn straight, there should not be any striker on this team that does what Lautaro does, or who works for the team the way Lautaro does. He's supposed to do the most. He's supposed to do more, and that's not an unfair statement, because right now he's just not doing it. We don't live in a perfect world, and Lautaro on form is the only thing stopping us from being perfect right now. I agree, 100%, balance of life, and it is very much a glass half full, glass half empty case. I just don't want to be in a situation where we really need him to be that little bit extra and he doesn't deliver. And like Mattia alluded to on Uncle Sharma's show, we're about to get our first glimpse into it this season, because I'll hand over to my partner on stream now. We've got a little bit of a thigh inconvenience going on with Marcus Thuram, don't we?
Exactly. So now it's the time for him to step up. Everybody else stepped up. It was a team effort so far. So that's why, that's why nobody is like shouting from the rooftops, sell him, or, because the results are still here. That's the exactly reason why we are not shouting that from the rooftops. But it's almost a year. So from February last year, we're now almost on a year of him not doing his job, his main job that he's been paid for 10 million, So at some point you have to start noticing that more and more, But I agree, as long as the results and trophies come, that's not the most important thing for sure, definitely. But now we have a trophy on the line on Monday, and Thuram is out. Is he gonna show up?
That's a big question, man, because we are a system, we are a team, and when you take one of the most important positions out or one of the most important players, the whole team does tend to suffer, like a little bit of a domino effect. I know we've got the luxury of being able to interchange and replace players, but at the moment, maybe next to Barella, Thuram is the most impactful player on the pitch for us, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So let's continue the conversation that we're having on Uncle Sharma's channel, and I'll start by asking Mattia, and then I'll ask the chat. Let's assume that Marcus Thuram starts from the bench in this game, because unless he's completely unavailable, I don't think Inzaghi leaves him out of the squad. If he is anything above 60%, 65%, you could see him on the bench. Can someone actually do me a favor in the chat? I know that the semi-final structure, there is no extra time. What happens at the end of 90 minutes in the final? Do we go to penalties or do we play 30 more minutes of football? If I remember correctly, against Napoli last year, we were gearing up for a penalty shootout when Lautaro Martinez scored that goal. I'm just trying to think of where my headspace was at sitting down recording that video. My headspace wasn't at extra time. We've got one guy saying pens.
Yeah,
Baba
I think
saying
so.
pens. All right.
I don't think there is extra
it's only
time.
90 minutes, Mattia. So maybe if Thuram's 50-50, he probably gets left out of the squad altogether, to be honest, if it's only 90 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he won't play. He won't start for sure. But yeah, we don't know yet the extent of his injury. So yeah, I think he will be on the bench. I don't think that it has to be something really serious for Demona not to bring him over. But I think he will be on the bench. Just, I don't know if we will need him. Let's hope we don't need him, so maybe he won't play at all.
Maybe he won't play at all. So I guess the big question on everyone's mind is, if not Thuram, then who? And it shouldn't be a huge question. I mean, I'm going to say Taremi. I know you've said Taremi. Maybe people will want to hear why we've said Taremi. I'm just going to go with continuity. I'm just going to go with the fact that Taremi has been asked to pull in as a substitute before. He is more reliable for an extended period of time, fitness-wise, than Marko Arnautovic. And to be honest, I just think he's the better choice. I think if Correa had played himself into some kind of respectable form, which he has not, I love the fact that he's gotten some minutes again. I love the fact that, we said, or at least I said, that now Correa has done enough to warrant himself as a fifth choice attacker in this side. And it's great when you're able to come on in Serie A and play those minutes. But in a final, even though it is the Super Cup, only the Super Cup, you're getting nowhere near that starting lineup, Joaquin, and everybody knows it. It's going to be Taremi, isn't it, man?
Yeah, for sure. He is the first. I mean, he entered the pitch today instead of Thuram at halftime, so it's definitely him. Definitely the most reliable guy you have. Arnautovic shouldn't see the pitch at all. Correa showed some signs of life with the limited time he was given this season. I think that's why everybody in Uncle Sharma's chat was calling for Correa. Let's do it, Correa, not Taremi. But okay, guys, it was just 1.5 game, so But we will see how the final develops. If we score early, or if, I don't know, we get a 2-goal lead, maybe nobody will be needed. Who knows? But we don't know how the game will go. So maybe Thuram will not be necessary, hopefully, but Taremi for sure. And I just hope he will at least shoot once. Like I'm so frustrated by Taremi this season. Like,
Me too, man.
he didn't have a single shot in like most of the games. What are you doing, man? I understand that he wants to assist, or he's doing other things like people say for Lautaro, but come on, you need to shoot. You're a striker. So yeah, I hope I see some shots from him in the final.
Yeah, I think
and goal, of course.
we're all just crying out for him to have a hunger for goal, man. To be honest, like
Yeah,
he's had some great touches on the ball. Like I I think he must have spent a little bit too much time watching what Alexis Sanchez was doing off the bench last season, because he does play a little bit deeper. But I got to say, when I was on holidays, I was just watching a compilation of Alexis, and he gave us so much off the bench last season that we didn't give credit for when we were watching those live games. Like the way that he was able to do what he did, he didn't just add an extra dimension, Mattia. He added a dimension and a half. But no point talking about Alexis and Dzeko when they're not here anymore, like we did on the other stream. We've got to work with what we've got. And, you know, what we got is still very good off the bench for our situation at the moment. It's not perfect, but it's working. No one can deny that it hasn't still worked to the extent that we need it to. We would just like it to work that little bit better. And it starts with players like Taremi, Arnautovic, and Correa having that little bit of input. And now there's actually a chance for them to do it, because we're 99% sure that Thuram will not start this game, and we're probably like 80% sure that he won't even feature in this game. So let's go to some of the comments. Most people are saying Taremi or Correa, but I think most people believe that Taremi is going to be starting. Maybe Correa comes in instead of Arnautovic. If we're chasing the game, we could see 2 forward subs, but I don't think we're going to do that. Mattia, I'll flick over to you after these comments to talk about the other semi-final and who we think that we're going to play in the final. Football Focus, thanks for coming through. Lautaro got to step up, though, in the beginning of the season. Mickey, Bisek, Sommer were not good, but they've stepped up eventually as well. Everyone has played themselves back into form. And, you know, that's why what Ian said is true. We have to continue to support Lautaro because the alternatives aren't worth mentioning. And like Mattia and Uncle Sharma said on the last stream, and I'll say it here again, the results are good. And we have been a team heavily invested in the all for one and, you know, one for all. The badge on the front. We're the only team left in the country, basically, besides Napoli, out of the, you know, the top sides that know the weight of the badge at the front. You know, the issues that are going on with Milan and Juve, a lot of it ties to the fact that they are so far detached from the club's DNA and what they value the most. They have a group of athletes that honestly couldn't give a rat's ass about the club that they are playing for. And this is something that has separated us from them the last few years. Inter is the most important thing, and all the players know it, which is exactly why we're going to keep backing Lautaro. He's the team captain. He's the highest earner. He's been our most influential player for the last 2 to 3 years, whether people want to admit it or not. Until there's a reason, or until he is being detrimental to the results, we will continue to back him through everything. Mattia, right?
of course. Of course. I mean, he's the captain, and he is the guy that led us to the second star. There is no denying that. As much as we criticize him, he is the main factor that got us the Scudetto last year. So we're just waiting for him to show up, you know, almost a year now. And of course, Inzaghi is never going to give up on him, and so is the team. So definitely. Yeah. And like I said, now is the biggest chance. You have a trophy on the line. You have a final against one of the biggest rivals or the biggest rival. And what more can you hope for? You know, so, yeah. But also we've been, like you say, we've been lucky. We demolished Lazio in Rome 6-0 with 6 different scorers.
That was crazy. I
couldn't believe none of them was Lautaro.
Like, I couldn't believe I was watching that before I left for overseas. I don't know how we did that, man.
Like 6 different scorers in Rome. Like that's, you have to say, you know, we have a great team. So
yeah, we do have a great team. Speaking of who, let's just do quickly. Man of the match for everyone. Drop it into the comments. Does anybody think it should be anyone other than Dumfries? What are you saying, Mattia?
Of course. Of course. I mean, his 2 goals saved the day. We had so many misses. Look at the drip.
He's so cool, isn't he, man? You'll only ever catch this guy smiling like 3 times a year. So when he does, make sure you put it in your meme bank and keep it forever. Some good comments coming. Thoughts on Quaresma's time at Inter? Bro, still to this day, like ask Mario Galliano that question as well. He still thinks he's the best player ever. That was still one of my most hyped up transfers of my life. I remember looking at that before I went to school in like year 11, second last year, and thinking, I don't think I've ever wanted a player to sign for Inter as much in my life. So Quaresma was one of my biggest first ever hype up transfers. And when he played poorly, but like he he came into Inter at a time where he really should have flourished. He had a Portuguese manager who was monitoring his progress, and his work ethic sucked. And it must have been in the dumps for someone like Mourinho at that point of his career to look at him and go, yeah, nah, you know what, bro? What's Goran Pandev doing at the moment? Because that's looking like a much better idea than you. Or Amantino Mancini for that aspect as well. I think a lot of players forget that he was favored over Quaresma as well. So it wasn't good. It really wasn't good. Yes, a trophy and 8 million is on the line. Shout out to Bruno. Thanks for coming in. We are fortunate because we aren't reliant on one player. Toro did everything last year. He will be back. I think that everybody deep down sort of knows with that as well. So yeah, Maicon, man of the match today. Is that what we're saying? Because that's what it was.
Okay, yeah, Zomer had some great saves too, for sure. But two amazing goals from Dumfries saved us because we had so many misses, especially Lautaro. We could have been punished, and only half of foot saved us from a very, very tight game. So
no, that's right. The offside call. I still haven't actually seen that properly in the frame, so I'll go and do that.
Yeah, they showed VAR. It was like half a foot, like very, very close.
That's all right, man. Half a foot, half a leg, a shoelace, doesn't matter to me. They've got the technology now to do it. It would have happened to us in the same way as well. So no point lingering on that.
Yeah, I mean, but some rival fans were already calling the Marotta League, but
Marotta Cup now is what they'll need to say.
Well, this is the Mone Cup, but yeah.
It is, man. So speaking of, in the final, we will play that, I believe, in 4 days. Let me check the time of the kickoff here in Australia. I'm on break.
So it's Monday, 6th.
Lovely. Monday the 6th. So I'm still on holidays there. So it's Tuesday the 7th for me at 6 o'clock in the morning. Perfect time. No problem there. We will play Juve or Milan. I think it's going to be Juve because even though they have been tactically poor under Motta this season, I think even though that they are struggling, if they lose or if they get eliminated to Milan, who announced their new manager basically as they were stepping on the plane and he gave his first team talk mid-air, this is going to be banter era stuff for Juve. It could send them into a retiro if they come back to Turin early. I don't care what because we know what their fan base is like. If they lose that game, they'll say that it's a tin pot cup and that they don't care about it. But they need this, man. We want it because we're up here and we just want it. We've been winning. It's the Dimone Cup, chance to win 4 in a row. By the way, has anyone ever won 4 in a row of this cup? Manager-wise, no. Has any club won 4 in a row?
No.
We can make history with that one.
Inter
before you say that, Mattia, don't tell me for a second that we need this more than those two clubs need it. That's bullshit.
Oh, bro, they need it like water in the middle of Sahara. They need this trophy. Both of them. Both of those clubs need it like so much more than us. Like we won it 3 times in a row now. For us, it's the smallest trophy of the year, but still a trophy. But for them, that's like the light at the end of the tunnel. That's like finally something, Milan won like only 2 trophies in the last 10, how many years? So it's very big for them. But, for us, it's a chance to be the first club ever to win 4 in a row, which I definitely want to be. Milan won 3 in a row in 90s, and now we won 3 in a row. So yeah, that's the current record, and yeah, we definitely won it. I am wondering though, should we call their match a derby? I think it's a friendly now because they're best friends suddenly.
Big time. They will hold hands towards the stadium. They will kiss in the dressing room beforehand. They will kiss and make up at the end of the game. It's the derby dell'amore, man, the derby of love.
Yeah, they love each other so much. And only thing I'm sad about, and probably they're even more sad about, because it can be a draw. Because both of them loves to draw 0-0 so much in the last couple of years. They love, they don't want to beat each other because they love each other so much. So I don't know how will they now survive because one half has to lose. Maybe they'll go to penalties and maybe they will just shoot like this. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I don't
Cover
know as
their
well, man.
eyes.
Your guess is as good as mine. Nothing brings people together in the world more than a common enemy. And like I've said to many of the hardcore Juve and Milan fans that I know in the real world, who, by the way, don't really adhere to the whole online trends of that, I go, some of your ancestors would roll over in their graves. And I'm really sorry if that sounds offensive to you, but I grew up in a generation and a world where it's pretty simple. You don't even pretend to like each other if you're one of us three sides. Majority of us still don't cheer on the other one in Europe. I never bought into that myth that, oh, you should cheer on the Italian sides to do well if Inter's not in it. Motherfungulo, man. I want you both to lose everything in your life. I want you to lose your car keys on the way out of the front door. I want you to lose every coupon in a magazine that you plan to do your groceries with. Lose, and then lose again. Nothing. But apparently, Mattia, we're living in a time where they're best buds and everything's okay because Marotta League.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel kind of sad for them and their fans because somebody has to lose, So it's gonna be very difficult, If they go to penalties, I don't know. It's gonna be hard.
It will be. Who do you think's going to win that match? Who would you prefer to face? What's going on there?
It's a difficult question. In general, I don't care, who we will face. Of course, I hate Juve the most, and I don't want them in the final. I don't want them to have a chance to go two above us. We now have a chance to go level, 9-9. We have a chance to go level on top, of Super Cups. So Juve only has one more. So
okay, there's even more incentive for us to win this one, man. The incentives just keep stacking up.
yeah, which is why you and I, a couple of months ago or a month ago, we were talking about this. There are so many reasons why we want to win this, But anyways, so on one hand, I hate Juve the most, and I don't want them even close to lifting the 10th. But on the other hand, I want to beat them in the final, and because I hate them more. So I'm conflicted, but in any ways, I don't care.
It is so good to see CQ back in the chat, man. Our resident AC Milan fan that we genuinely like. It is so
I missed
good
you,
to see.
bro. I
Missed
missed
you,
you,
bro.
brother.
I missed you, CQ, man. I'm just so curious to hear what you think about the situation at your club at
He
the moment.
is
And you
not
know it's
one
all
of
love.
those fans
Nah.
that we were making fun of. Yeah.
Oh man. Bro, I think that regardless of who we face, it's going to be gritty and grindy. It won't be as easy as it was today because they will put their full foot forward, and it is a final. You need to expect the final to be harder than the semi-final. But I don't know, man. I just feel like Inzaghi's sort of licking his lips here. He knows that whoever he faces might be a little bit, we've got that 1 day advantage because they're obviously going to play tomorrow. A little bit of extra recovery time for us. And I think, what Mattia said was true and what Sun Tzu's saying as well. Milan might not look the better of the two at the moment, but it would be sweeter to beat the other guys. But regardless of who it is, we've got fond memories of the Alexis Sanchez goal in the last second, the moment that brought Mattia to Inter Worldwide. So it's an even better achievement, that one there. And then we followed it up by beating Milan 3-0 in the derby, and then a last-minute goal to Lautaro against Napoli. So like I said in my very short video that I put up the other day, I think I was still overseas, enjoy the Supercoppa. Enjoy it for what it is because it's entertaining as shit. And if there's one cup that you're allowed to sort of put your feet up and just yell at the screen and walk around with a little bit of a smile on your face, it is this one. So regardless, it's going to be a good spectacle, Mattia. And don't expect this stadium to be half as dead as it was today either.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And the final hopefully will be also a full stadium. And yeah, as much as we said that they needed so much more than us, we also want it as much as they do. And there are many reasons. We can go level with Juve as most trophies. Nobody did it 4 times in a row, and
Yeah,
so on. And you want a trophy, it is the smallest trophy, but you want it. So
of course.
especially against these two best
Exactly.
friends.
There's no way that they will sack Motta because that would be suicide
No,
at the moment. The one thing, like I know that they're not doing
they're
great
not
at the
that
moment,
good.
but less than 30% of the blame can be put on Thiago Motta for this situation. He's experimenting. He'll realize quicker than anybody that Turin is not Bologna, that's for sure. But in my opinion, the Juve fans online are doing a pretty good job actually acknowledging where the blame is coming from. And it's coming from a directive standpoint, man. Giuntoli has a lot to answer for in terms of what's going on at that club. Injuries are a scapegoat reason, but I think it's from a director's point of view, it needs to be cleaned up a little bit there. Enough talking about the rivals. Let's have a little look, if you don't mind, Mattia, just at our fixtures coming up. We've been going for 30 minutes. I'm only going to stick around for another 5, 10-ish. So let's have a look at the fixtures coming up because congestion-wise, it's not going to be easy. But at the same time, we've finally got a slightly better looking calendar. We've gotten past some tricky bloody fixtures, haven't we, mate? Fiorentina, Lazio. We're into the Super Cup now. We got through to the quarterfinal of the Coppa Italia by playing our complete reserve side. I was gassed in Mumbai that we got through to the next round in that game because I thought to myself, like, when I saw the starting lineup, I wanted to get through to the next round even more because I was like, oh, Limone actually, got some balls on him here. He actually played Inter B. Now I want to go through to this next round because everybody in Inter A got the rest. We got to the next round. Everybody on our A team got the rest. So we're into the Coppa quarterfinals almost like we haven't played a game yet in that competition. It was almost like a fast track to the quarterfinals.
And you
February,
can bet Demone
yeah,
and the others won't Copa this year because they bombed out in the first round. So we'll
yeah,
see.
exactly right.
The
So,
only thing that I
yes,
see
sir.
is works against us this season is the amount of games. That's the only thing that can stop us. Like I don't see anything else. And let's see the fixtures. January is easy, but February is hell.
So let's just look ahead a little bit. So for the next, we've got 1, 2, 3 games. Pardon me, 3 games in the next 13 days. Not too bad. Not ideal, but we've done worse. So the next one, obviously, is the Supercoppa, which we have adequate rest for. Then we have about 6 days off to play the worst team in Serie A, which won't be easy because Juve did not win against Venezia. I think that was at home as well in Turin.
Uh-huh.
So that will not be easy, but we need to get 3 points there. We will definitely get the 3 points against Bologna because I've seen the way Bologna played this year. And Bologna are in this weird middle ground where they can't sit back completely and give the other team the game, but they can't also take the ball and play full foot forward like they did under Motta. And these are the teams that Inter tend to whip with their eyes closed at the moment. Teams that are trying to find a middle ground between we've got the confidence of taking the ball and we have no confidence, so let's park the double-decker ship at the back. I expect us to get 3 points at home to Bologna very, very easily. Yeah, look, this fixture list, yes, it's congested, but don't sit there and tell me that these are hard games. And I'm allowed to
No,
say that without
no.
scaring as a
January is
kid.
easy. Like I said,
That's not a hard
February is
month.
hell.
We can wrap up
January
Champions
is
League
super easy.
we can wrap up qualification against Sparta Praha, and then we play Lecce as well. So we've got a couple of objectives still in January. It's still a busy month. Win the Supercoppa, don't drop any points in Serie A, and qualify for the Champions League. And I know those are high standards, but I think that that's more than respectable to say, Mattia, don't you think?
Yes, definitely. Especially when you look at the opponents. I don't want to like belittle anybody, but you just have to win these games. It's you want after a trip to Saudi Arabia and 2 games there. Like Venezia is probably one of the best teams to play against after a long trip. So I'll take it. And then you have Bologna at home, Empoli at home, you know,
Yeah.
not extremely difficult games. You have to go to Prague to secure Champions League, not the hardest place to go to win. I really think January should be the month when we stack up wins and pray for the best in February because
Yeah,
it's hell.
that looks rough in February. just wrapping, starting it on the 30th of January, where we really need to wrap up Champions League against Sparta Praha now, because it would be a massive gift to not need 3 points at home against Monaco. If you go into Monaco at the very worst situation, just needing to draw that game, you can manage that game extremely well. If you need to win that game, then we're in a little bit of trouble. Just a little bit of trouble, like default trouble. No trouble as in panic trouble. Don't confuse the two. Just a little bit of default trouble in a sense that 3 days, 4 days later, you go to the Milan derby, which, let's face it, we're going to win that game. Don't tell me for a second that this group of players are not going to win that game. Di Marco likes beating this team more than anybody else. So does Bastoni. So does Barella. This game is huge. We threw it on purpose. CQ knows it. You know it. I know it. Fonseca FC was checking into that game, making sure that Fonseca got sacked at a certain time this season, not too early. We threw the derby on purpose. All right. We're going to come back and win it by 3 goals for sure.
Bro, we may yet play them in 4 days. Don't forget that.
That's true. That's true. But we definitely want to reverse that result in Serie A. That Coppa Italia quarterfinal against Lazio, expect that to be one of the biggest pains in the ass of our season. That 6-0 that we went, they're coming. It's almost like we should have turned off the tap at 4 goals, because when the 5th and the 6th one went in, I went, crap. That's going to come back to bite us a little bit here. And you can almost guarantee that Lazio are going to be fighting for top 4, not a Scudetto, but they'll definitely fancy their chances at getting to the final of the Coppa Italia if they get past us. Very good chance that Simone Inzaghi rotates for that game, knowing too well that Milan, Fiorentina, Juve are tough.
Games.
Those are tough games, bro.
Lazio,
that's a very
Fiorentina,
tough, congested
Milan,
fixture,
Juventus, man. Napoli. Oh my God.
Very tough. Very tough. Yeah, I know, bro. The times are crazy, eh? The times are crazy on my side, but it's all good, bro. It's all good. Lord Figo is here. My Scudetto, our Scudetto, and Forza Inter, a 4th Supercoppa in a row. I think so. Yep, get the B team out versus Lazio. We can get the job done at home, or we can at least push it into extra time.
I am not sure, guys. We need to check. Google shows that we are playing at home, but FlashScore shows that we're playing in Rome. So I'm not sure Coppa Italia where it's being played.
Wouldn't the higher ranked team get the home game?
Yeah, usually, but I'm not sure. My TV commentator and FlashScore, they show Lazio as the host. So I don't know. I really don't know. It should be as us, but
is there an official website that it's on? Is it on the Serie A
because that's a big decider, in my opinion. Because if we go to Rome, then I don't see us as favorites again. But I really don't know.
Amazing how we just clapped them up 6-0, and you and I are saying that we wouldn't be favorites going.
Because I believe we'll play B team. That's why, not because we're not gonna beat them. Yeah.
Mattia, anything to say before we wrap up here?
Guys, Happy New Year. Enjoy the first win of the season. Let's get the first trophy on the season on Monday against the best friends. And let's watch them cry tomorrow, because one of them will leave their best friends. But let's make them cry again on Monday. So hopefully we will celebrate on Monday and see you then. All the best in 2025.
Shittest best friends I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. By the way, I'm going to start doing a lot more content on my other channel, so I'm going to keep shamelessly plugging it here if I can. Boo, big boo, massive boo. But I'm sure that the funniest thing to everybody in the football world at the moment, except Manchester United fans, is the state of Manchester United at the moment. I was over in India with my wife, and we got to see 3 games. Manchester United scored no goals in those 3 games. Copped 3. Is something funny, Mattia? You look like you're smiling for some reason.
Because I enjoy the misery of Man U. I'm sorry. I don't have anything particular against them. I just don't like English teams in general. Like English national team, English teams. I just I mean, you can understand as Italian that, you know, English teams, English, yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trust me, as most people know, if my reason for following this club didn't date back all the way to 1998, 99, when you get given a shirt and your country only has one league in the world to watch. But we are here and you need to be there for me and the pain. So can you just hurry up and go over there and subscribe and watch me cry? You're not there for a good time. Well, you're there for a good time. I'm not there for a good time.
I
So
can confirm. I enjoy watching Anthony being angry because Man U sucks. So you should do the same and enjoy as me.
yeah, and it's a completely different level of anger than when it is for Inter. With Inter, it's soul crushing, it's defeating, my body slumps. But with Manchester United, there's a lot more chest, a lot more aggravation. So, but most importantly, this is a great community. Thank you so much to CQ for your donation for today. Thank you, everybody that came through for the first stream of 2025. One thing I can promise every single one of you, there will be a lot more content here than there was in 2024. 2024 was a great year for Inter, but when I look back at the channel, it could have been a lot better for us as a community, and I plan to dedicate more time to this community and this channel. So thank you so much, Mattia, for being my PIC for today. Thank you to everybody for coming through. And we will see you very soon, especially most likely you'll see me, my face before the Atalanta game. But you'll definitely see more of an interactive stream after the Atalanta game. So Forza Inter worldwide. Ciao.